So the United States Africa Development Foundation, or USADF, and impact investment company Allon have named 9 wholly African-owned enterprises as finalists for the 2020 Nigeria Offgrid Energy Challenge. The 9 enterprises will be awarded $25,000 in grant capital from USADF and to another $25,000 in grant capital from Allon via a support from the Rockefeller Foundation, alongside $50,000 in convertible debt from Allon. In addition, the winners will also receive technical assistance from USADF and governance support from Allon. Joining me to discuss this investment further is an investment associate at Allon, Aishat Alimi. Good morning. Welcome, madam.
Good morning.
Yeah, when I hear of funding rounds for Nigerian enterprises, supporting startups and all of that, I get very happy. So for those who will be hearing about this for the first time, and I'm hearing about it for the first time, what does the annual Offgrid Energy Challenge entail, and how can more enthusiasts or others participate?
Okay, so the annual Offgrid Challenge is targeted at innovative renewable energy companies. And contrary to popular opinion, it's not just solar companies. It can be hydro, it can be wind, and it also can be biomass. But basically for innovative companies that want to provide solutions for households and commercial customers to provide either power or sources or things like cold storage for prevention of waste and things like that generally.
So corporate funding in the solar sector globally or renewable energy rose 24% year on year to about $14.5 billion last year, which proved to be an unprecedented year for publicly traded solar firms. How would you say this development impacted Africa's solar firms and investment environment?
Yeah, so that's definitely a positive thing, and also it also goes with the trend with people trying to find more renewable solutions to the traditional fossil fuels. So obviously, and you also have situations where governments too are also providing support. So you have organizations and agencies providing support. So that's increased the growth in the sector and also increase the commercial viability of the sector because there are better innovations that are being introduced. To the sector. So that has really made it quite attractive as people are getting more support for their business ideas or the solutions that they are coming up with, and also has helped scale the industry in Africa, and particularly in Nigeria as well.
So now let's look at Allon as a vehicle and your investments in the solar energy space. What informs the investment decisions you have made in this regard, and what prospects do you see ahead?
As Allon, first of all, I think I'd just like to talk about what we look at when we look at investments, because that gives a clear picture of what we do. So we are basically an impact investor. So definitely there has to be an impact of in the projects that we're investing in, and also there has to be commercial viability because these businesses also have to run themselves even after the funding that has been provided has been used. So we definitely look at those two things in particular, and I can also give examples of businesses that we have funded that have also gone on to either seek funding, further funding from us as an investment body, or also other investment companies, because when the company is commercially viable and has showed that this is what I've done, in the lives that I've impacted, it also makes it attractive as a business even to partner with, and also for further investments to come into such businesses.
What are some of the challenges that have accompanied the investment and execution process, especially in the light of the last year events globally, the virus pandemic?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I think the first thing would be logistics, especially during the lockdown period, and also the cost of logistics, because when movements were restricted, projects could not be deployed. So you have also companies that were providing power to commercial customers that are paying you per consumption. Obviously, the offices were shut down, so they couldn't pay, which threatened the operations of some of these businesses. But I think also the interesting thing about our environment in Nigeria is we are very innovative and interesting people. So you've had people come up with different new ideas to also thrive in this situation. So, and that also drives at the commercial viability of a business, because if the business was not initially commercially viable, when they face some challenges like this, they wouldn't have the kind of bandwidth to take the impact of these challenges. But I think, and also interesting enough, as you talk about challenges, there have also been positivity and positive impacts as people are now more aware of the industry. I don't know if it's because of the government support or because of the things that have been done. So one of our we had our investees also have some COVID reliefs, at least in the IDH in Yaba. There was an installation done by one of our investees, and also at the Landmark Center. So also things like that have increased the awareness of the industry or for people in the country.
There are always about challenges in Nigeria, but on the regulatory side, generally speaking, what are the realities on the ground that deter off-grid energy companies from thriving in Nigeria, unlike other jurisdictions in sub-Saharan Africa? Do you think we're addressing these challenges as quickly as they should be addressed so that we can fast-track the process of delivering power to the people?
Interestingly enough, that Nigeria actually has one of the most developed regulatory framework for the renewable energy. So you have things like NERC, where you have to register a mini grid. You can register a mini grid up to 100 kilowatt, but once it's over 100 kilowatt, you have to get their approval. So obviously, in terms of like specification of what you can deploy, that is catered for. But the one major challenge that I might see, which is just in terms of like importation and customs, where you have people where the classification of the energy components is not very clear, that they have some challenges there. But generally, that is a challenge that, as it's coming up, is being addressed. But in terms of regulation, you also have government agencies like the REA that is also supporting the industry significantly in terms of grants, with partnership with the World Bank and things like that. So Nigeria is actually not doing too badly in the regulatory aspect of it for the renewable energy sector.
Yes, we have all the laws, but there's no power.
Well, you have to look at the size of the population as opposed to the power that the population needs. So it's like, really, at the end of the day, it is a gradual process of what needs to be done. And even though, yes, what you're doing might be impactful, but when you compare it to the size of the population, it will take some time to get to what we're trying to achieve.
We're talking about a gradual process. We've been trying to get power sustainable level for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and the population keeps jumping. So is it such a rocket science when you look at getting the power delivered to the people? I'm just asking. Rocket was built before the...
So no, it's not rocket science. I think it's the traditional approach of trying to get it done through the grid that has been the major problem. Now, to get to scale through the grid is going to take time, and it's going to be quite expensive. And that's why you have agencies like the REA supporting the off-grid sector, because then you can carve out little customers, and then you're able to supply power to those people one at a time. That's relatively faster to do compared to trying to meet the energy need of Nigeria through the grid. So yes, it's taking time, and we're talking about it, but it's now that we're doing it through another way, as opposed to the traditional way of trying to do it through the grid. Now you also have a situation where the grid and the off-grid are also partnering through interconnected mini grids. So also we are beginning to see significant growth in that.
Okay, Aishat Alimi, thank you so much, madam, for coming on the program this morning. We appreciate your time. Thank you.